I don't actually have any clue what a facehugger looks like.
I don't know if I've ever paid attention to some of the things I'm going to need to know for this.
Dalton manipulated me into doing this instead of the chest burster.
I'm not even sure he remembers what a facehugger is.
My entire project was 100% a guess.
There's one creature we'll never forget. The facehugger from Alien.
At least we thought we wouldn't until we decided to try to make it from memory.
Starting 3 weeks ago, neither of us has been allowed to look at any pictures of facehuggers. Let's see which one of us has the superior memory.
So a facehugger from scratch should be fairly straightforward, right? Here's my problem though. I have only seen Alien one time, and it's been at least 10 years. So I don't actually have any clue what a facehugger looks like. So I'm afraid this time Dalton does have the concrete upper hand, and we're just gonna have to deal with that. So when you vote this time, maybe take some other things into consideration other than screen accuracy. Maybe creativity, skill, that kind of thing would definitely put me on top. So think about it.
Love the Alien movies, especially the first one. That's one of the greatest movies of all time. But, confession, I don't know if I've ever paid attention to some of the things I'm gonna need to know for this, like how many legs a facehugger has, or if it has a face, if it has feelers on the front. I have no idea. One thing I can say for sure though is Preston has only seen this movie once, and I'm not even sure he remembers what a facehugger is.
I liked what I did last time with my armature, so I'm going to do that again. I'm just going to make my form with this. Got some craft wire too to maybe give it some structure. I think the facehuggers have little legs. I'm assuming they do, so probably going to rely on this to give some structure for some legs and a tail or something. I don't know, guys, I don't know. I think it's got a tail, right? I think there's like a tail, maybe a tail that curls up off of it. Just gotta try and put yourself in the mind of these guys. Was it James Cameron? Gotta get yourself in his mind. Think about his other movies. Think about the other stuff. You know, there's gotta be some patterns, right? That's pretty good.
I'm gonna make the skeleton out of wire. I'll skin it with foam clay, and then I'll probably just paint it with acrylic paint. I don't think the materials and finishes matter quite as much as my memory in this case. I could make it with amazing details and finishes, but if it has a face when it's not supposed to, then it's gonna lose. Preston, I think it's time for you to watch and learn. You told me to watch and learn last time. I watched, but all I learned was what not to do.
I'm a total noob at this kind of thing, but I think the next step here is to wrap these with the tinfoil, and I want to build up the middle. I'm assuming, I don't know, I have this picture in my mind that it's kind of a bulbous body to this thing, so I'll try and build up the middle a little bit. I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but it should be obvious by now that I don't remember at all what facehuggers look like. I don't remember it at all. Pretty sure Dalton watched this movie like a few weeks ago, so I don't know if you consider that cheating or not. Definitely unfair. He did watch it before we decided to do this project, but he knew he'd seen it recently when we decided to do this, so I don't know. Maybe that's points against him. So remember that when you're voting.
Time for clay. Guys, you know I can edit out all of Preston's parts, right? Just let me know in the comments if you want me to do that. I'll edit out all his parts and you only have to watch mine. That's much better than closing your eyes during his parts, which I'm sure is what you've been doing.
Okay, I'm imagining almost like a potato bug or a pill bug sort of shaped body. I have no clue if that's accurate, but that's kind of what comes to mind when I think of James Cameron and his creatures. I hope I have that right, James Cameron. I don't even remember if that's who directed this movie. Okay, what are we thinking, guys? Is this anywhere close to what you see on the screen when you watch Alien? And if it's not, does it look cool enough to win your vote? That's the real question.
All right, to get him to stand up, I think I'm going to staple his tail into this, so this will be the base, because I want him up like this. That's totally gonna beat whatever Preston's doing.
It's clay time.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a huge fan of this clay. It's spongy, it's really hard to blend together. Even when I get it wet, it doesn't seem to want to blend together. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. If I'm doing it wrong, someone tell me in the comments. I've had much better luck with basically any other clay I've used, including other foam clay. I have some vertebrae sort of designs to add on the tail. So I think what I'm gonna do is use this foamery clay. I've had much better luck with this. I might also patch some of these seams.
It's time to paint, and I have no idea what color these things are. I think the chest burster alien is like this yellowish color, so I'm guessing this is probably not the exact same color as that. We were actually going to do a chest burster, but Dalton recommended doing this instead because the chest burster might be a little too graphic for any kids that are watching. And I'm starting to think that he set me up.
I think it's looking awesome. It's really, really coming together. Time for the fun part. Paint. At least for me, it's the fun part. For Preston, it's probably not the fun part because he's probably painting just a giant blob of clay. I don't remember the color. I've seen anything from yellow to beige to brown to gray. So I guess I'll do a mix of all of those.
Pardon my French, but he looks like I coated him in a literal coat of poop. Which means he looks almost as bad as Preston's final product will look. But don't worry, this is just the bottom coat.
Alright, I think this is as ready as I'm gonna have it. I'm pretty happy with it. I have no clue if it looks anything like what's in the movie. Remember, this contest was extremely unfair. Dalton manipulated me into doing this instead of the chest burster, knowing that I didn't remember what this looked like. So keep that in mind when you're voting. Alright guys, it's time to see the final product. I am so nervous because my entire project was completely 100% a guess. We're going to look at each other's first, and then we're going to reveal a picture of the real Facehugger from the movie and see how close we got. And then we'll let you guys vote. Dalton, I think I'm going to go first.
All right, let's see it. It doesn't look, at least how I remember the real one, but I really love what you did with the face, like having it on an actual face, somebody's face. That's awesome.
Okay, so I got the Facehugger part right. just not the rest. All right, Dalton, let's see yours. So what it's looking like is, assuming you have a good memory, and you probably do, especially because you recently watched these movies. Mine is completely off. That looks pretty cool. Yours looks good. Let's look at a real picture from the movie. All right, so yours actually looks pretty close. And there are some features I think I got too, like the semi-armored look and sort of the spiny legs I was going for, but overall, obviously, mine looks a little more like a potato bug.
Yeah, I think you got the color really good too on yours. I could not remember the color. And I've seen a lot of different versions of it, so I was kind of remembering a mix of all of those. But I think you got more accurate on the color.
And that's actually surprising to me, because the color was a complete guess. It was an estimate based on the chest burster color that I remembered. I tried to do it so it wasn't the same as the chest burster, but it was kind of similar. So anyway, good job.
You too.
Thanks.
Sorry.
All right, guys, vote in the comments. And remember, you don't have to only vote on screen accuracy. You can vote based on skill and execution too. So vote in the comments and let us know if there's anything you want to see us do next. And if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe.